Hey everyone, and welcome to the Deep Dive. I'm Alex.
I'm Ella.
And today we're diving into the history of the Walt Disney Company, a century of magic and storytelling.
And maybe along the way.
Exactly. Did you know Disney almost went bankrupt just 40 years ago?
Seriously.
Yeah, crazy, right?
Yeah.
But before we get into all that, make sure you hit that subscribe button and give us a like.
It really helps other folks find our deep dives.
All right, so Disney, 100 years old this year, from a small animation studio to a global entertainment giant.
Yeah.
How did they do it?
Well, it wasn't always easy. They had their ups and downs for sure.
I bet. Especially after Walt Disney passed away, right?
Yeah, some people even call the 70s and early 80s the dark ages for Disney.
Dark ages.
That sounds rough.
It was a tough time. Their animated films weren't doing so well, and they were struggling to connect with audiences.
But they still had the theme parks, right? Those must have been doing okay.
You're right. The theme parks were a bright spot. They even opened new ones like EPOT and Tokyo Disneyland. Okay, so the theme parks were keeping them afloat. But what about the movies? How did they get their mojo back?
Well, there was a change in leadership, but it was really the animators and storytellers, the creative heart of Disney that brought them back to
The
life.
Storytellers.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. How did that happen?
It started with a few key films in the late 80s and early 90s. Movies like The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and The Lion King.
Ah, those are classics.
Exactly. They had these incredible stories, beautiful animation, unforgettable music. It was like Broadway on the big screen.
So they kind of reinvented the animated musical.
Yeah, and audiences loved it. This period became known as the Disney Renaissance.
Makes sense. They were like reborn.
Exactly. It put animation back at the heart of the company and reminded everyone of the power of Disney storytelling.
And they've been going strong ever since.
Right, from those early struggles to creating their own distribution company to building a global empire, it's been quite a journey.
Speaking of distribution, I remember you mentioned that Disney had trouble getting their films out there in the early days.
They did. For years, they had to rely on deals with other studios to distribute their films.
So they weren't in control of their own destiny.
Exactly. They didn't have much say in when or how their movies were released.
That must have been frustrating.
It was. But then in 1953, they decided to change that. They founded their own distribution company, Buena Vista Distribution.
Ah, so that's how they got their independence.
It was a game changer. They could finally release their films on their own terms.
Smart move. That's probably what allowed them to launch Disneyland and their TV show.
Exactly. And they even adopted a total merchandising strategy.
Total merchandising, what's that?
It basically meant creating an entire world around their characters and stories.
Wow, so they were thinking way ahead of their time.
They were pioneers in creating immersive experiences that went beyond just the movies.
So from humble beginnings to a global entertainment empire. And it all started with a mouse.
And the power of storytelling.
Absolutely. Now, before we go any further,
Yeah,
let's take a moment for a quick keyword review, especially for those of you learning English.
great idea. Words are the building blocks of stories, after all.
First up, we have conglomerate.
A conglomerate is a big company made up of many small companies, like Disney, with all its different studios and brands.
Next, we have distribution.
Distribution is all about getting a product, like a movie, to its audience. Remember how Disney had to rely on other studios before they created Buena Vista?
Right. Now, for a more intense term, hostile takeover.
Ooh, that sounds scary.
It can be. A hostile takeover is when someone tries to take control of a company against the wishes of its leaders.
Like when someone tried to take over Disney.
Exactly. Next up, we have Renaissance.
A Renaissance is a period of renewed interest and success, often in art or culture, like the Disney Renaissance.
Right. It was a time of amazing creativity for the company. And finally, we have franchise.
A franchise is a series of creative works that share a common universe. Think Star Wars, Marvel. Those are all franchises owned by Disney.
Awesome. Now that we've got our vocabulary down, Pat, let's dive back into the story of Disney and see what happened after the Renaissance.
This is where things get really interesting.
Can't wait.
So we left off talking about the Disney Renaissance and how it really brought them back to life.
Yeah, it was a magical time for Disney.
But the world of entertainment keeps changing, right?
Always.
Yeah.
What happened next?
Well, in the 21st century, the way people watch movies and TV shows started to change big time.
You mean with the internet and stuff?
Exactly. Remember those VHS tapes?
Oh, yeah. I used to have a whole collection.
Well, those became obsolete pretty quickly with the rise of streaming services like Netflix and Hulu.
So everyone started watching movies online.
Pretty much. It was a huge shift for the industry, and Disney had to adapt.
Did they try to fight it?
No, they knew they couldn't ignore it.
Yeah.
So they launched their own streaming platform, Disney+.
Which, as we all know, has been a huge success.
It has, but the streaming world is super competitive.
I bet everyone's fighting for subscribers.
Exactly. And it's not just about quantity. It's about quality, too. People expect big budget productions with top-notch actors.
So the pressure is on.
Definitely. And then there were the actors and writers strikes in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah. Those were big news. How did that affect Disney?
Well, it caused delays and disruptions across the entire industry, including Disney, made it even harder to produce new content.
Which is crucial for streaming services.
Exactly. They need a constant flow of fresh content to keep people subscribed.
So it sounds like Disney has been facing some pretty big challenges lately.
They have, but, they've always had a knack for overcoming obstacles.
They're kind of like the comeback kids of entertainment.
That's a good way to put it.
So what do you think is the key to their resilience?
I think it goes back to storytelling. Their ability to create worlds and characters that resonate with people.
That's true. Yeah. It's not just about special effects or technology. It's about those timeless stories that capture our imagination.
And make us feel something.
Exactly. And I think that's what will continue to drive their success.
I agree. As long as they keep telling great stories, they'll always have an audience.
And it's not just movies and TV shows anymore, right?
No, they've got theme parks, merchandise, video games. They've built an entire ecosystem around their stories.
So even with all the challenges like the streaming wars and production delays, you're optimistic about Disney's future.
I am. They've proven they can adapt and innovate. Plus, they have something truly valuable, a legacy of storytelling that continues to inspire people around the world.
Well said. So what's the biggest takeaway for our listeners?
It's really amazing to think about how Disney has grown from those humble beginnings to this massive entertainment empire.
It's kind of mind-boggling when you really stop and think about it.
I know. What really stands out to me is the role of the storytellers, the creative minds behind all the magic.
It wasn't always the suits making the big decisions, huh?
Right. Sometimes it was the passion and vision of the artists that really pushed Disney forward.
It's inspiring to think about the power of individual creativity, even in a huge corporation like Disney.
It is. It shows that we can all make a difference with our own unique talents.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up our deep dive into Disney, I want to ask our listeners a question. What are your favorite Disney stories?
And why do they resonate with you?
Tell us in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.
We would. And if you're listening to this and wishing you could experience these stories in their original English,
we've got a great resource for you.
We do. It's called Kaz English.
It's a language learning app designed to make learning English fun and engaging.
Especially for beginners.
Exactly. It uses real-life dialogue examples so you can learn the kind of English people actually use.
You can find Kaz English at website address.
It's a great way to immerse yourself in the world of Disney and so many other amazing stories.
So what are you waiting for? Start your English learning journey today.
And that's it for our deep dive into the fascinating world of Disney.
We hope you enjoyed exploring this incredible company's journey with us.
And remember, no matter what challenges you face, keep telling your stories, embrace your creativity,
and never stop learning.
Until next time, keep exploring.